The last person Taka expected to see in a viral F1 highlight was his own wife.
Taka, look at this! The Phantom Queen! Those eyes tell me that's not someone you know.
Those eyes are unforgettable. They're my wife's.
He staggered out of the party, replaying the clip on his phone. The same intense glare he'd seen 1,000 times. At home, Akira hummed in the kitchen, oblivious.
She can barely drive on the highway. How could she be the legendary Phantom Queen?
You are back early. Something wrong?
No, just tired. I'll be there in a minute. If I confront her and it's true, our quiet life ends.
The apartment felt smaller, as if a secret was breathing under the floorboards. For the first time, Taka looked at Akira like a stranger in his own home. The next morning, Taka opened his laptop while Akira slept. He typed Phantom Queen F1 into the search bar. Among the results, an old racing magazine cover appeared. A young driver in a helmet, eyes blazing with fierce intensity.
That's her. The same eyes I see every day. She's the Phantom Queen.
He printed the cover and waited in the kitchen, the paper burning a hole in his palm.
Morning. What's that?
You tell me. A viral clip. Then this magazine. It's you, isn't it?
That's not me. Many people have those kind of eyes. You are being paranoid.
She's lying right to my face, but her voice is so calm.
Akira's expression didn't flicker. She turned back to the stove as if the conversation was over. Taka folded the printout slowly. He didn't believe her, and for the first time, he was scared of his own wife. That evening, Taka dug through an old contact list. He dialed the only name linked to Akira's past, Koji. Koji answered in his cluttered garage, voice rough from years of engine smoke.
Koji, it's Taka. Did Akira ever race? I saw something online.
That's old history. You should just ask her.
She denied it, but I found a magazine with her face. They called her the Phantom Queen.
The accident. It wasn't her fault, you know. No, I can't.
The line went dead. Taka stared at the phone, the word accident echoing in his skull. That night, passing the bedroom, Taka heard Akira's voice quivering through the door.
Koji, swear to me. He must never know about the crash. If he finds out why I really quit, it will destroy us.
At dinner, the clinking of chopsticks felt like a countdown. Taka looked at the woman across the table and saw a stranger carrying a buried tragedy.
I called Koji today. He slipped about an accident. Stop lying to me, Akira.
Akira's hand froze mid-air. The mask she wore every day finally cracked. In the bedroom, an old photo album lay hidden. Secrets pressed between pages, waiting.
He said someone got hurt because of you. What did you do, Akira?
A driver got injured. It was my fault. I just wanted to forget, but I can't.
The weight of her confession bent the air. Regret seeped through every locked door. She stood abruptly, dishes rattling. The loudest sound in the room was her silence. She retreated to the bedroom, locking the door. Taka heard the soft click, a wall rising between them. Inside, Akira sat on the edge of the bed, an old racing photo album open on her lap. Tears dropped silently. Taka remained at the dinner table, cold food between them. He had fragments of truth, and a wife who was already miles away. A week later, the office outing dragged them to a go-kart track. Taka hoped for ordinary fun. Akira looked like she was walking to her execution.
Taka, bring your wife. Let's see if she can handle a cart.
I'd rather not. It's been a long time.
But the colleagues insisted. Akira had no choice. She climbed into the cart, and the moment the helmet went on, her eyes changed. The flag dropped. Akira's cart lunged forward like a missile. Lap after lap, she devoured the track.
What the... She's not just good. She's a machine.
She crossed the finish line, 3 seconds ahead of everyone. Her fist shot up in victory. As she removed her helmet, a woman with a press badge pushed through the crowd. Her eyes locked on Akira.
That driving, I'd recognize it anywhere. You are Raven Takahashi, the Phantom Queen.
Akira paled. The name she had buried for years now hung in the air. The secret was out. Taka lunged forward, grabbing Akira's wrist. He dragged her through the shouting mob toward the parking lot, the reporter's voice chasing them.
Does the crash still haunt you? Why did the Phantom Queen walk away from millions?
Please, not here. Too many eyes.
He shoved her into the passenger seat and sped away, tires screeching, leaving the chaos behind. Hours later, the car sat parked outside their home. Neither moved. The night pressed in like a held breath.
Before you blame her, watch this. It's the truth she never told you.
Akira's face drained of color. Her chest heaved as the words hit.
What is this? What truth are you hiding?
Koji, you swore you'd delete that. You promised.
He pressed the tiny drive into Taka's palm. Akira buried her face in her hands, a sob escaping. The past had finally followed them home. Taka plugged the drive into the living room television. Grainy footage filled the screen. An F1 car spinning at lethal speed. The car hit the barrier. Debris exploded. Another driver veered, slammed into the wall. The sound of screeching metal echoed.
She caused this. That driver could have died.
The clip jumped to a press conference. Takahashi's reckless error, the commissioner announced, warrants immediate suspension. Images of Akira flashed on screen, headlines screaming, "Phantom Queen falls from grace." She was crucified. The final clip showed a phantom of Akira. She walked away from the crash, helmet under arm, empty eyes, no statement.
She didn't just cause an accident. She was erased.
Upstairs, a door slammed. The lock clicked. Taka ran to the hallway, palm pressed against the wood. Through the door, muffled sobs. Akira curled on the floor, clutching her knees, shattered. Taka leaned his forehead against the door. He had seen her crime, but also her punishment. The gap between them had never been wider.
Akira, please open the door. I watched the footage. You were just a kid who made a mistake.
A mistake. They took everything from me. I wasn't allowed to race again. They said I was a danger.
You mean it wasn't just a suspension? They blacklisted you?
The lock clicked. The door swung open, revealing Akira, red-eyed but standing tall.
I was erased. My sponsors fled. My own team threw me away. I've been dead for years.
Taka stepped forward, arms reaching for her. She flinched and pushed him back with both hands.
Don't. Don't touch me like you pity me. I am tired of being your fragile wife.
She grabbed her coat from the hook and strode toward the front door. The living room felt like a tunnel.
I am going to Koji's garage. I need to remember who I really am. Don't follow.
The door slammed. Taka stood in the empty hallway. The silence crushed him. She was gone. The cold night air bit at Akira's skin as she pushed open the heavy garage door. Koji looked up from a dismantled engine.
You actually came. I thought you'd buried this life forever.
Her gaze fixed on the dusty tarp in the corner. Underneath, a silhouette she knew by heart. Koji yanked the cover away. The car gleamed under the dim light, battle scars still visible.
13 years. And you are still here. The only thing that never abandoned me.
It still runs. Enter the Japan Masters. Show them the Phantom Queen never died.
I'll do it. Not for redemption or revenge. For myself. I need to remember who I am.
Outside, headlights cut through the window. Taka had followed. He peered in, seeing a woman he barely recognized.
Akira, I am sorry. I was wrong to push. Please, just come home.
Home. That depends on the checkered flag. Watch me race, then decide if you can love the real me.
The Japan Masters qualifying session. Akira's time flashed on the scoring board. P1. She was back. Taka sat alone in the grandstand, a tiny figure among a roaring crowd. She was out of reach again.
She's incredible. But this world isn't mine. I am just a spectator.
After the session, reporters swarmed her in the pit lane. The Phantom Queen was the only story.
Raven, how does it feel to return? And who's the man you came with?
He's my husband. He's learning.
Taka was cornered by a journalist moments later. Without thinking, his frustration spilled out.
Look, this racing thing, it's not what I signed up for. I married a normal woman, not a headline.
Akira froze, a few feet away. The words pierced her like shrapnel. Without a word, she turned and walked down the pit lane, her back rigid. Taka called after her, but she didn't stop. The championship hadn't even started, and he had already lost. Back in the hotel room, Taka couldn't sleep. He opened his laptop and searched for old interviews of Akira's prime.
She was so fierce, so alive. This is the woman I fell in love with before she hid.
He watched victory after victory. Then the crash clip again. But this time he saw the betrayal behind the headlines.
She didn't just crash. She was crucified. And I've been no better. I wanted a safe, hidden wife.
He grabbed a pen and hotel notepad. Tears smeared the ink as he wrote, the words pouring from a place he'd locked away. The letter read, Akira, I am sorry. I was scared of the Phantom Queen, but she's the woman I need. Give me a chance to prove I can love all of you. He folded the paper and walked through the empty paddock to Koji's garage. Her racing helmet sat alone on the workbench. He tucked the letter beneath the visor, where she'd find it before the race. Then he stepped back into the shadows.
If she reads it, maybe I can still be her finish line. Not the one who holds her back.
The night stretched on. The letter waited under the helmet. Tomorrow, the race would decide everything. The race morning sun blazed on the grid. Taka's hands were clenched so tight his knuckles whitened. In the cockpit, Akira's breathing was steady. The lights went out, and her car surged forward. A predator unleashed. Lap after lap, she carved through. Then, a slow puncture. 2 cars slipped past. The checkered flag waved. She finished third. A podium return, but behind her visor, disappointment flickered. In the pit, she slumped on a tire stack, helmet in her lap. The silence around her was louder than the crowd. Taka stepped through the crew, his legs unsteady. He halted a few feet away, as if afraid to break her silence.
I read your letter, but I need more than words. Prove you won't run from my fire again.
And then, before the cameras and the crew, Taka knelt. The ground was dirty, but he didn't care.
I was wrong. I married a storm, and I tried to make her a calm sea. Let me learn to sail with you.
A team manager appeared, holding a contract. Akira looked at it, then at Taka. I'll think about it, she said softly. For both of us, weeks blurred into a rhythm of tests and telemetry. Akira's lap times sharpened, but the silence between them lingered.
She's magnificent. But every time she looks at me, there's a question mark in her eyes.
One afternoon, carrying coffee to the pit, Taka heard her voice through a half-open door. She was on the phone with Koji.
I don't know if I can trust him, Koji. He's gentle now, but what if the storm scares him again?
Taka's knuckles whitened around the paper cups. He stepped back, but the floorboard creaked. Akira spun around.
Taka, how much of that did you hear?
Enough to know you still see me as a fair-weather husband. I am not the man who wanted a normal wife. I love the storm.
Love isn't enough. Trust takes years to build, and seconds to shatter. You broke it with one sentence.
Then give me a chance to rebuild it. Not with words, with every race, every morning, every storm.
Akira turned away, but her shoulders trembled. She didn't accept or reject, not yet. The wall still stood, but a single crack had formed. The next test day, Taka walked into the pit lane with a resolve that silenced his own doubts. The crew paused, sensing a reckoning.
Akira, stop. I am not waiting for a convenient moment. The whole world can watch. I don't care anymore.
And then, in front of gawking engineers and Koji's knowing grin, Taka dropped to his knees on the oily asphalt.
I was a fool who asked you to shrink. I am begging you. Be the storm you were born to be.
Get up. This is a pit lane, not a theater. Everyone is staring.
Let them stare. I'll kneel in front of the whole world if it proves I am not running anymore.
Akira's composure shattered. She grabbed his collar and yanked him to his feet. Then, before another word, she kissed him. The crew erupted. Cheers and whistles bounced off the garage walls. Koji crossed his arms, a rare smile breaking through the grease.
This doesn't mean I've told you everything, but it's a start.
Taka held her tighter, feeling the shape of words still unspoken. But for the first time in weeks, the silence between them felt like a bridge, not a wall. That night, the apartment was quieter than it had been in weeks. Taka sat across from Akira, the coffee table between them, a fragile truce.
You said there were things I still don't know. Tell me, Akira. I've earned the wait now.
Akira's voice dropped to a whisper. The crash wasn't my fault. A steering rod snapped. The team knew about the defect.
They came to me in the medical center. They said if I took the blame, they'd protect my family. If I didn't, they'd ruin us.
She didn't just walk away from glory. She was buried alive by the people who should have stood by her.
I signed a paper that destroyed me. Then I met you, and I thought a quiet life could fill the hole, but it never did.
Then fill it now. With every lap, every podium. I'll be there with tools, with coffee, with my own pride finally parked.
For the first time in years, a real smile broke across Akira's face. It wasn't hesitant or guarded. It was the Phantom Queen alive again.
Then I am going back. Not just to race, to win. And this time, I want you on my pit wall.
They stood in the middle of the room. The weight of 13 years finally lifted. The truth had nearly broken them, but now it was a weapon she would drive all the way to the finish line. The season opener, engines screaming on the grid. Taka stood on the pit wall, headset on, heart hammering. Akira's car sliced through the air like a blade. Lap after lap, she built a gap, flawlessly hitting every mark. The checkered flag fell. The pit crew erupted. Headsets thrown in the air, a wave of joy crashing over concrete. On the podium, Akira lifted the trophy. Champagne spraying in golden arcs. Tears glittered beneath the spray.
This victory, it's for the man who learned to love all of me. Taka, I race for us now.
In the grandstand, Taka stood frozen among thousands. His face crumpled as the words reached him.
She did it, and she's still mine. Not the hidden wife, but the champion.
He yelled her name, voice lost in the roar. But she turned, as if she'd heard, and raised the trophy higher. The crowd parted for him as he rushed down the stairs. Every step was a beat in their new rhythm. By the podium barriers, their eyes met. The world blurred. She didn't need to leave the spotlight. He was finally part of it. The post-race interview, set blazed with lights. Akira, still in her race suit, stood before a dozen microphones.
Raven Takahashi, a fairy tale comeback. Any words for the fans who never stopped believing?
My fans gave me a second wind, but there's someone else who found a new gear in his heart. Taka, get over here.
Taka froze at the edge of the frame. She pulled him beside her, fingers laced through his, unshakable.
This is the man who learned the truth about my past and begged me not to leave. He's why I'll keep racing together.
I was a fool, but she's worth every mile. I'll hold the umbrella on her parade.
The clip went viral before the interview ended. Husband begs after discovering truth blazed across screens worldwide. Millions watched a couple turn shame into armor. The Phantom Queen had not only returned, she had rewritten her legend with him. On the set, the anchor smiled and lowered the mic. The real story was already written in their entangled fingers. The world now knew. Behind every phantom, there is a reason to race. And beside her, a husband who finally kept pace. Evening settled over the apartment. Taka stirred a simmering pot, while Akira sat at the table, scrolling through telemetry graphs.
You are getting good at this. Almost as good as my lap times.
I've learned from the best, both in the kitchen and on the pit wall.
Their laughter filled the small kitchen, a sound that had almost become foreign. Now it was the default. After dinner, Akira stood before the wall, holding the first place medal from the season opener.
This one's different. It's not just mine, it's ours.
Then we'll hang it together. Every win from now on, we'll put them up side by side.
He draped the ribbon over the hook, aligning it with the framed magazine from her past. Two eras finally reconciled.
A year ago, I didn't know who she really was. Now, I can't imagine a life without the race.
The apartment felt bigger now. Full of speed, secrets turned to strength, and two people who had learned to race the same track. Airport terminals became their doorstep. Taka held the boarding passes while Akira checked the schedule on her phone.
Another city, another track. I'll never get used to this.
Good. I like being your travel companion. Better than staying home wondering.
The next podium, a different flag, the same champagne. Akira raised the trophy under a foreign sun. Taka stood in the garage, watching the live feed, his grin unbreakable. Every victory was theirs now.
This one's for Koji, and for the guy who still burns the rice at home.
Between races, they found a tiny cafe tucked in an alley. No cameras, just coffee and each other.
You know, I never thought I'd enjoy the jet lag, but chasing you is the best reason for losing sleep.
Don't get too comfortable. Next season, I am adding night races.
The calendar filled with stamps, podiums and quiet moments stolen from the world. Together, they raced into the future. The sun rose over another circuit. Akira stood beside her car, the hum of engines vibrating through the pit lane.
Every time she gets in that cockpit, she becomes something untouchable. And yet, she always looks back at me.
She slid into the seat, the familiar ritual of straps and switches. Her world narrowed to the track ahead.
I used to race alone. Now I carry him with me in every turn.
Taka walked to the chain-link fence separating the pit from the grid. He gripped the metal, feeling the vibrations.
Once, I was just a fan. Now, I am her anchor.
He raised a hand, thumb pointed high, a simple, timeless gesture. Through the visor, Akira saw it. Akira saw it.
That's all I need.
No words were exchanged. The engine roared to life, and she pulled away, but the gesture hung in the air long after she was gone. He stayed there, feeling the heat of the asphalt and the certainty that they had built something unbreakable. The race was just another lap in their story. On the track, the world dissolved into a blur of color and sound. Only the next corner existed.
Speed has always been my language. But now it speaks of home too.
Each lap peeled away the layers of the past, the weight of blame, the years of silence, all left behind in the exhaust. She had raced for glory once, then she raced to survive. Now she raced for the pure, untainted joy of it. The Phantom Queen was no longer a ghost. She was fully alive, fully loved, and utterly free. She was born to race, and now she races free. The checkered flag waited. But in her mind, she had already won the one race that mattered. The engine's roar was her anthem. The open track, her truth. Behind the visor, the woman who was once hidden had become the horizon, her husband, now chased with pride. In the garage, Taka stood before the monitors, watching the race unfold in flickering light.
She's rewriting history with every turn.
The screen showed her lap times, each a heartbeat echoing his own. Koji wiped grease from his hands beside him, sharing a silent, knowing smile. Taka's reflection superimposed on the track. A man no longer afraid of the speed. He thought of the nights of confusion. The morning he knelt on asphalt. All of it led here, not to a finish line, but to this quiet certainty. They had built something unbreakable. He leaned closer to the monitor, as if proximity could hold her safe through the chicane. And when she crossed the line, the garage erupted. But Taka only closed his eyes and smiled. He had learned to love the storm. And the storm, at last, had come home.